Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
Anyways.
Moving on.
Full warlock.
Viking.
Yes, but not anymore. Now it's 100% prep. I don't know. I feel like prep can't grow beard.
You've got a beard, though.
I know.
You look like a well-groomed Harley rider.
Harley
One
rider
of few.
with a day job.
You mean Harley rider? There's no such thing as a rub anymore because all Harley riders now are pretty much rubs.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Unless
that's
they
true.
strictly ride used old turds and motorcycles.
Now you're talking about yourself again.
Hey, what's wrong with that? Used old motorcycles.
Nothing. That's why I love it.
So, anyways,
There's room for everybody.
on another note, hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. My name is Marcus and I am your clueless leader. Today we're going to go on a learning journey and I have a special guest with me, but before we get to that individual, if you hear us cough or choke, we're not passing anything. We're sitting around the campfire. It is a little windy tonight, so something in there is sizzling right now.
Crackle, crackle.
What is
Log right there.
Oh.
Yeah, that is sizzling.
It's probably
Bubbling.
from the
It's
rain.
literally bubbling.
Bubbling.
From the rain this morning.
But on a roll call, I do have Miss Muffin.
Hey y'all.
I've got Lana,
Hey guys.
although neither one of them are probably going to talk very much. They're just out here
Sometimes.
enjoying the fire.
Sometimes.
Enjoying the festivities.
But I have Daniel.
Hey there.
I mean, we're at his house. It's not like I couldn't come over here and do a fire in his
I mean, you
backyard if he
could.
wasn't here. But
Wouldn't be surprised.
special guest. Been wanting to get him on the podcast for a while now. He came all the way from San Diego just to do this episode. I'm kidding.
That's what I heard.
San Diego transplant to Chattanooga. So big city to big city, or I guess little city to big city. I mean, San Diego's not that big of a
San Diego.
town.
No, it's
San Diego.
tiny. You pass right through it.
So, but Harley Davidson Tech, been in the business for many years. Ryan, how are you today, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, before we get into what we're going to talk about, a little bit about yourself. How long you been wrenching?
Let's see. I started about 2012 at San Diego Harley specifically. Worked there for about 8 years. Took a little hiatus, and then worked in Texas for a little while. And then now I'm here at White Lightning.
So,
Yo,
what brought you to Chattanooga in particular?
dog on a map, honestly.
Seriously?
Pretty
Just,
much,
a
yeah.
random spot? You're like, hey,
I mean, it had nothing to do with like
Well, it's
the fact that
logistical research, obviously. You know, checking the weather year round and seeing.
well, yeah, but then you also have like Teresa.
Well, I didn't know her before.
Yeah, but she knows the California motorcycle scene, which I'm sure with that whole aspect.
It feels like home because
Yeah.
of that. I feel like.
Yeah, but like with her and then Eric and stuff
Eric,
like that,
yep.
they
Sean's
both have.
also familiar with
Yeah,
California.
you've got people here that have a good concept of what you're used to.
Right. Totally.
So when you're like, hey, I want to do this,
They're already familiar with what
yeah,
even needs
they
to
know
happen.
what's going on.
for sure.
they know what it is.
We're bringing the style.
So
from
Chattanooga definitely needs it.
You guys got your
Yeah.
style, but you know, there's like
Well,
I said
there are-
earlier, there's room for everybody.
there
right?
is the bumper sticker that floats around town. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. It says "Keep Chattanooga Weird."
All right, Austin.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Austin, yeah. Doesn't Portland kind of rep that a little bit too?
I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
cities in recent years.
Yeah.
Have just
I've
adopted it.
But like, I don't know if you've been like down like in the North Shore area of Chattanooga.
Yeah,
It's very much that vibe.
Pedestrian bridge and stuff.
Yeah, it's very much that vibe.
Yeah.
So, but then of course too, what's super nice is all of those people. When you get out of Chattanooga, there's hiking trails and kayaking and all kinds of stuff. That's what a lot of people do in their
Well, it's a
in
small
their spare
city
time.
surrounded by a lot of natural beauty.
Yes.
I mean, we're right on the mountain.
Stone's throw.
Yeah.
And fortunate for us as riders, there's
Great
gorgeous roads
Yes.
going to all
And they're
those
maintained
destinations.
pretty well. I mean, honestly, coming from a big city with a lot of money, San Diego's got awesome freeways and good riding outside of the city too. But it obviously costs a lot of money to maintain the roads, and the roads here are pretty well maintained.
Yeah. Well, you just traveled like.
Through some terrible roads.
Well, I'm talking to get here. You traveled like 3.5 miles. It took you less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
Which doesn't happen in San Diego.
And the freeway speed limit here is 55.
That's a suggestion.
But also somebody that we know got a ticket the other day for doing 80 in a 55, and like that 80 is normal where we come from. Right?
I thought she was going like 84.
The details are
super speeder.
The details are debatable.
Fortunately, Tennessee doesn't have super speeder. But no, technically the details are, because here's the thing.
How can you really know?
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Right by the Hamilton place, speed limit's 55. But if you're running 75 or 80 miles an hour, 99% of the time, law enforcement won't even look at you.
No.
But if you're on the ridge cut at 80 miles an hour, game over.
Don't you dare tell my secrets.
You gave away your own
Flags
secrets.
on the side of the freeway and let people know. Just slow down right here and then
And then
inside.
speed up.
They'll
there.
have police officers that sit right at the bottom and right at the top of the ridge cut.
Yeah.
They'll sit there and wait.
Now, most of that, though, is because there's usually accidents there pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Because the road's not really conducive for interstate travel. It's not a bad section of road, but it's like everything's smooth, and all of a sudden you have this zigzag.
Road.
Yeah, zigzag for a mile up the side of a ridge.
It literally looks like they started paving and then quit midway through.
To me, it looks like they paved the interstate coming to the ridge on both sides. They get to the ridge, and they're like, what are we going to do? And they're like, just connect it. Like, there was no thought about it. They're like, just connect the roads. I don't mean, what do you mean?
Grooves.
Yeah.
Oh, the concrete with the scrapes in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, so what we're going to talk about tonight is part of the big reason why I wanted Ryan here. Which I've been wanting to get Ryan on the show. We've talked about it before. Hopefully we can get some more episodes on down the road and everything. But I ended the last episode with Daniel was going to look at a Harley.
That is correct.
Go ahead
Let's hear
and
about this
bust
motorcycle.
everybody's bubble. Daniel didn't buy the Harley.
I did not. No. So it was
It is still for sale, though.
It is still for sale. It is a 2000 Harley Davidson Fat Boy with the twin cam, 88, carbureted,
5-speed.
5-speed, 5,100 miles on it. So low mileage. However, in its lifespan, it's been sitting for about the past 7-8 years.
And it was literally pulled into a garage and just parked.
Yes.
Do you want to slide her over here?
I think I'm going to try that because the smoke is a little bit.
Yeah,
Plus,
it's-
maybe my low voice
it's
will get
mainly
picked up on
hitting
this.
him.
Yeah, well, you got on a leather jacket too, so it's not going to be as bad on you because it is a blustering 38 degrees in Chattanooga right now.
It feels nice, honestly.
It was 65 this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, when I walked in, I was sweating earlier, and I walked out the back door where Fred and Tristan were doing some work, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
So Daniel, 2000 Fat Boy, 5,100 miles,
Low miles parked.
pristine. This is literally
It is honestly, you would look at the bike, and if it was cleaned up, you got the dust off it, you'd think it was on a showroom floor somewhere.
yeah,
Believe it.
All original equipment, everything on it.
including the tassels.
including the tassels.
Leave them alone.
Look, I mean, it's a great condition bike. However, it's been sitting.
Right.
So
Yeah, sitting for
With
7
consequences.
years.
for sure.
sitting for a number of years now in a climate controlled garage. So
Best case scenario.
helps, but still sitting. It's different than if it was sitting for 8 months or a year.
Right.
This is multiple years for a long time. Gentleman decided he didn't want to ride anymore, and he'd bought the bike brand new, so it's a one-owner bike as well.
Oh, yes.
He bought it brand new from the dealership that we purchased out of.
We love a one-owner bike, that is for sure.
Yes. So
So-
it's a one-owner bike. low
Last
mileage.
service was done 7 years ago at our dealership,
Okay. Awesome.
which is probably the 5K service.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know
So-
it was done. You know it was done right.
Yep.
So, the customer himself was looking for somewhere around 3-ish. And it sounds like a good deal. And in all actuality, for someone that's mechanically inclined, it's
is.
not a bad deal.
It is really.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. We've talked about it on this show before. We've talked about it numerous of times because we've known people that have been in situations. There's been situations in society that have come to light, like the tire thing. That was kind of one of the factors that led to the wreck that killed Paul Walker, was the fact that they were on dated tires. So, what we have Ryan here for, very specifically, is as a tech, to talk about a motorcycle that's been sitting for 7 years. Like, what needs to happen with a motorcycle that's been sitting for 7 years?
There's quite a few things, and it really is case by case in every sense. But obviously, gas, that's pretty much a stage one. Everybody knows about it situation. You gotta, if it's got old gas in it, you need to get it out, clean it all out from the gas tank, the carburetor. If it's fuel injected, that is other things. But
Particular example
is carbureted, which my favorite personally, because I love a carburetor. I can take it apart, I can clean it, I can do some little neat tricks and make it run really nice and put it all back together. I don't have to worry about some of the headaches that come with fuel injection. But
Now, with a carburetor, is there a point where you get to with a carburetor where you go, I'm better off buying a new carburetor?
It depends on who you ask, really. As some people are willing to spend a lot of time to restore, something that is original, one of a kind to that piece, and even though it's a cookie cutter component, like they know that was the thing that was on it when it came out of Harley Davidson, and that's special to some people. That person would probably spend the time to clean all the gunk out, get the Dremel out, and polish, and
I could get that if you're restoring a Harley Hummer.
I mean,
But a 2000
I'm
Fat
just
Boy.
saying there's all kinds of people out there, so you will get that person who's like, I would rather just clean it out. My time is worth the effort, I guess.
I think it also depends on how far gone it is as well. If it's just you gotta take the bowl off and scrub that and then blow out the jets.
For sure. And there's definitely a point where it's going to be, beyond serviceable. But like for me, if it's really like terrible, there's a few things that, you'll know right off the bat if it's been monkeyed with and damaged, specifically some tiny screws that control the air mixture and things like that. You got to just throw it away because, you can't really use that part, the main body of it anymore. So as far as that goes, you're going to want to throw it away and just buy a new one or buy a good used one and just bolt it on. To some people, just buying a new one where you can get it and bolt it on and be done with it is worth their time, right?
Yeah.
If it's $200 for a known good carburetor or $50 or whatever it may be, you stick it on there and
For an
fire it
easy
up,
buildable one,
and you're
yeah.
done in an hour or two, right? That's worth a lot in my eyes also, but like I said, it's case by case, really.
I went through a very similar thing when I was rebuilding the KZ. The previous owner had used a screwdriver to get the carb bowls off, so he had kind of bent them a little bit where it wouldn't seal, so they'd always leak gas. So I ended up just getting a new bank of carburetors for the bike.
Yeah.
It was cheaper than trying to fill it with RTV or gaskets, and more reliable in that sense.
Right. Yeah, peace of mind is worth its weight in gold too, on a motorcycle especially.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about, on the fuel thing, obviously, I guess the other two major components outside the carburetor that you have to look at is the potential of rusting on the tank
Well, yeah, there's obviously the fuel lines, the carburetor, the fuel tank.
I mean, lines should be fairly easy to replace, though, right?
Petcock. Yeah, for sure, and you should probably just replace them as a go-to rule.
Yeah. Well, my thought with that bike, if I was to restore that bike, fuel lines are cheap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go to any auto parts store and say,
just pull the fuel lines and
cut me a
replace
couple
them.
of feet. I'll keep the rest for emergency or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, are those petcocks on those bikes vacuum operated?
Some yes, some no. Okay. Some are gravity feeds, some are vacuum. The OE ones on most later carbureted bikes are vacuum operated.
That's what I thought when I looked at it. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you can tell if there's a little.
Harleys and their setups is kind of a foreign aspect to me. I know Japanese bikes, but wasn't.
Is that the right term? It's a foreign aspect, and Japanese motorcycles.
I mean, point of reference, right?
Yeah.
To him, if he's familiar with one thing, the other thing is foreign.
That makes him foreign.
Yeah, well,
I've only got one domestic out there, so.
Yeah, but you also have one that's not Japanese.
I have multiple that are not Japanese.
he's a man about the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is his domestic is a Honda.
Oh, okay.
I
Is that domestic?
Yeah, made in Ohio.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay.
only know of one that's not Japanese out there. You have one Indian. Not an Indian. A motorcycle produced in India.
Austria.
Nope.
Very different.
Austria.
India. That KTM, the
Actually,
400cc and smaller KTMs and Husqvarnas are produced in India or wherever.
The engine's made by CF Moto.
So-
it's Chinese.
It's Chinese.
It's not even Japanese. Anyways.
Man about the world. Now we just need to get you a Harley.
Yeah. He's like, good luck.
If we could find him a Pan
We
America
tried.
at the right price point, he
I
don't
got
want.
you $3,000 right now. You find me a Pan America.
Nah,
Okay.
I could probably find you a set of Pan America wheels.
Yeah, that's not the way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
could
no.
build you. I mean, cost you a little more than $3,000,
I don't know
but
about that.
we could get you a pretty cool Sportster that's set up like a Pan America without all the stuff you don't need.
A Scrambler.
Yeah, Scrambler.
I mean, that's
That's
pretty
the
close.
that's the OG Harley dirt bike
Look,
right
I
there.
mean,
Really,
me and Marcus have talked about that.
He's not
before.
opposed to a
I'm
Scrambler.
not opposed to a Sportster Scrambler.
so find yourself a $1,200 Sportster that's been sitting for 7 years, and we'll do it up.
Except they're going to want $5,000 for it because they know what they have.
I know what I got.
I know what I got.
There's always deals to be had for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it comes about finding the right deal.
Totally.
Yeah, but we're not in California.
It's always a roll of the dice.
We're not in California. FXRs are $25,000 out here.
Are $25,000?
Yeah.
Like a junk FXR, people are like, $12,000. I know what I got.
Jeez.
I mean, I feel like that's everywhere because of the internet now.
Yeah, but 15 years ago, they were $2,500-$3,500 in California.
I would say probably like more than 10 years ago. You can still, like I said, you can still find a deal. You can get you can find the $5,500 sitter that's been parked next to somebody's house under a tarp that you can make go. But I don't know. There comes a price with the culty following of anything, I guess.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what it's actually worth. It's what people are willing to pay for it. And
Exactly.
people are willing to pay for that because they want the cool points, right?
Well, I'm just proud.
I mean,
I'm just
it's-
proud to say I owned Donnie Darko on DVD in 2002.
Jeez.
Okay. All right.
Trendsetter.
Hey, one of Gyllenhaal's finest, really.
Only surpassed by Brokeback Mountain.
Okay, I'll let that slide. I'm wearing a cowboy hat right now.
Cowboy hat and a leather jacket.
It's more of a fedora. I guess
Yeah,
I'd give
that's
it
it.
kind of cowboyish.
Yeah.
Al Capone era cowboy.
It's more of a fedora.
It's got a cattleman crown. That's cowboy hat.
Did you buy it in Texas?
If I say yes, does that count?
No.
Does that make it better?
Make it better?
Anyways, back to the Fat Boy. So, okay.
So fuel lines, carburetor,
fuel tank. The fuel tank is a roll of the dice, right? You know, obviously it's something you can visually inspect with a flashlight pretty easily. Some people may know, some people may not. Harley gas tanks are lined with a tank liner that can peel like any tank liner, and that debris coming off from old gasoline will clog up your bits, and you don't want that. So it's got to be clean, and it's got to be lined properly, or scrapped and replaced.
Now, they make liner kits.
Yep.
That it's a mix kit. You can do it at home.
And those are kind of a tough. It's one of those things. I've used the Pour 15 one specifically. I had really good luck with it on steel tanks that I took my time with. My bike right now has an aluminum tank, and it's peeling. So I don't know if it has to do with, maybe the prep work I did initially, or the aluminum. I didn't really read the directions, to be honest, but that happens.
Well, so then
there are tank liner options that do work. I would say there's probably better than others. I've had, like I said, good luck with the Pour 15 with Harley tanks. It does eventually do it again, so you just got to be mindful.
Well, so then that brings about, I guess that doesn't actually solve that problem. I was going to say getting a good used tank, but a used tank will eventually
do the same thing.
Have the issue.
Probably eventually, but we're talking about, if you ride it frequently, you probably won't have to reline that tank for a decade, especially if you use ethanol-free gas or super low ethanol. Or
what I was thinking of with the tank is because they're not a dime a dozen, but you still come across them. Hey, 2001 Fat Boy tank that's a good tank for $300.
Perfect example is the Dyna that I have right now. That tin set is basically brand new takeoff from when the guy bought the bike because he wanted a custom black flame tribal paint set, from what I was told, which at the time was probably cool. I don't know, there's room for everybody, right? Yeah. But the tank, the set that I have is beautiful, but also is kind of dated, and it's gonna reach out to only a smaller crowd, but it's perfect, right? It's the inside of the tank is great, so you will find those original parts that somebody just took off and they just have them.
Yeah.
And they just want to get rid of them,
And that could be something where, maybe spending an extra $50 to $100 to get a decent tank at a swap meet.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're avoiding the headache.
Yeah. Take your flashlight and just look inside. If it looks good, then run it. That's,
Yeah. So, obviously, getting down, coming into that, spark plugs. I feel like spark plugs are so cheap, it's just replace
them. That's just a no-brainer. You just do that anyhow.
Yeah.
You do a service and just do that, right?
Yeah, so we're talking a three-hole change, spark plugs, new air filter. Just throw those things on there. It's worth it, even if the bike had it done 100 miles ago. It's been sitting for 7 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are all just general wear and service items that you're going to do anyway.
I guess potential of a battery.
Probably most likely the battery if it's been 7 years. Yeah. Even if it's been on a tender. I mean,
I'd say a battery sitting on a tender for 7 years is kind of rough.
Yeah, I would just buy one. Buy a good one.
Well,
and tires is a pretty major one.
Yeah, I think the thing with batteries, if nobody's bought a battery lately, they don't realize batteries are almost like $200 now.
Definitely, and that's a AGM battery. OEM AGM battery. You can buy the cheap ones that are not good, but they last for a small time.
Yeah.
If you just need it for the weekend, $50 is cheaper than $200. So there's sometimes that option, but then you talk about lithium batteries that you go up another $200 probably.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily sold on lithium batteries.
I run one I have one in my Sportster and my Softail, but I mean, they're choppers essentially. They don't power much, but a headlight and a brake light. And
you got two headlights, to be fair, on your Softail.
Yeah, and two tail lights. They're LEDs though.
Okay.
Now, I have seen a lot of guys run the lithium bikes or the lithium batteries on those cafe racer bikes because you can get a very small
and they're lightweight.
Well, I've seen a lot of guys running lithiums on these big custom bikes because they can mount them whatever way they want to.
You can hook them up in multiples to run like stereo. If you need one just for your stereo, one for your lights and stuff.
Well, and I think that's the big thing about the lithium batteries. You can hook them up in any orientation. It's not like the old lead acid batteries that have to be vertical in a tray so they don't move, so they don't leak. And even the AGMs still need to be in a more vertical position.
Yeah.
But
I've had good luck with them in bikes that are running essentially nothing. Both my lithium batteries I've had for more than 5 years, and they're both awesome.
Yeah.
I don't keep them on a tender, but again, my bikes have an ignition system, a headlight, and a taillight, basically.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So then you said tires. I mean, that's kind of the big thing,
Yeah, there is a date code on tires, all tires for your cars, bikes, whatever. Maybe not bicycles.
But first of all, even if the bike had just been 7 years, say it had new tires put on it before it was parked.
Yeah.
The tires are already date coded.
Oh, totally.
But I guarantee you those are tires from 2001 or 2000.
I believe they are.
I bet they're the tires that came on the bike from the factory at 5,100 miles.
And you'll see a lot of times people are very much unaware of the date code or a date rating for a rubber component, and they'll sell the bike as like brand new tires, right? But from 2001.
Yeah.
And
those were brand new
and
in
it's,
2001.
Exactly. And to the person who doesn't know better, that's a genuine, honest thing that they're going to put in their ad. So you're going to have to be aware as a buyer that you got to find the date code, look, and you're like, oh yeah, these tires are really old. And if you try to...
I think I'm going to say there's probably a little bit more leeway than the typical 5-year rule, depending on how the tires have been stored.
Right.
Because you got to think of the inventory for motorcycle dealerships. Not every tire gets sold within the first year or 2 years.
That's true. But a lot of times too, if you find someone that knows tires, so say maybe Ryan himself is selling a bike, and the tires, you look at it and it's date coded. He might go, hey, this tire was on a shelf. It's only been on the bike for 2 years.
And I think that might be...
I think typically, though, that's where you're going to get into that type of knowledge.
I mean, you're probably not going to buy a tire from any store that's 5 years old unless it's like a hole-in-the-wall, maybe used tire type store.
Well, there's a bunch of mom and pop shops, though, that you can run into encounter that. Probably.
And just be aware.
I think that smoke is chasing you.
It might be. I smell
it.
But tires, especially on a motorcycle, are very important. And again, like, I don't know. I just would rather spend the money to replace it, even if you buy cheap. Even if you buy cheaper, I should say less expensive tires that have a notable.
No tire is cheap right now.
Shinkos are pretty cheap as far as tires go.
Some of them are cheap.
But Daniel doesn't want you to gripe about his tires that he runs.
A lot of people run them. I've never seen catastrophic failure or anything.
I didn't buy the Shinkos that are on my bike. They were brand new when I bought the bike. They were actually brand new.
I would run it. I would run it all day. Yeah,
well,
those tires out.
The other factor is right now, Shinko is making a big stir with tires when it comes to the ADV and the dirt bike stuff.
Yep.
They're a huge.
Oh, and they got some
push.
cool flat track tires too.
Yeah.
Because I've got the Shinko.
They have
890s.
also, I should note, some really cool like vintage style, Coker style kind of old tires, Avon style tires. Those are really cool too, and they're more affordable than other brands. So obviously, for a bike, and this kind of goes with the date code thing too. If it's you're right on the fence, maybe if you're just gonna ride it down the street like I did to come over here, doing 25 miles an hour, you're probably fine. But if you're
gonna do any,
if you're going canyon riding, touring, ripping down the freeway to commute to work, or you're just an aggressive rider, just spend the money. Same thing with helmets, whatever your opinion is on that. The harder you ride, the more gear you should have.
I mean, how much is your head worth?
Exactly. You can't you can't really put it back together. So
that's true.
Look, I mean,
I'm
at
not
this
driving the
point,
fire.
Helmets are relatively affordable. You can get a good AGV for $250, $300,
And it's a good quality helmet.
It's a good quality, good DOT, ECE rated helmet.
And helmet technology has come a very long way.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that too.
I mean, you're going well past the 1990s, early 2000s
Yep.
quality.
Just a bowling
and that's
ball
actually
shell.
something to be said about tires as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Tire technology too.
You
Yeah.
know, a 2015 tire is significantly better than a 2001 tire
Right.
in quality compound materials that go into it.
So,
Go ahead.
well, no, I was going to move past tires onto.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't trust a 5-year-old 2001 tire. I'm gonna trust a 5-year-old 2015 or.
I don't know.
2016.
I've never had a 5-year-old tire on a motorcycle.
I've got I think a 14-year-old tire on the KZ right now.
I mean, I ride my bike too much to know what a 5-year-old tire looks like.
And that's awesome.
All my 5-year-old tires have no tread on them.
They're at the recycling plant.
Yeah, they're already turned into yoga mats. So, okay. So, obviously, tires. I mean, I've preached 1,000 times about tires. I mean, anybody that's listened to this podcast knows tires is one of the biggest things that I push. Outside of date code, irregular wear and stuff like that. We just put a new tire on mine because I had a broken belt.
Hey, Sean just got a new tire because I drilled a hole in it.
Yes.
It's a good reason to put a new tire on.
Mischievous individuals. So, but something else that a lot of people, I meet people that are riding right now. We're not talking about just bikes that are sitting, but bikes that are being ridden on a regular basis that I see people that they're not taking care of. And that is the fork fluid and brake fluid.
Any fluids, yeah. But definitely fork oil and brake fluid is overlooked. Everybody goes, oh, just do an oil change, right? A lot of people will even overlook transmission and primary oil. But those, should be changed within a year also.
Well, I feel like a lot of people that come off of Japanese motorcycles to Harley Davidson
Used to a
definitely
unit,
overlook.
yeah.
Because everything's in one.
A unit
Yep.
motor or right. And it's ignorance is bliss. If you don't know, you don't know. So you can't
Until
really
you find out.
Yeah, and we all learn at
There's
different
the
rates.
scale.
So it happens. But yes, on Big Twin Harleys, engine, transmission, primary, fork oil, brake fluid. Without a doubt, you're doing it. Spark plugs. Just do a full service. I mean, all these things affect how you ride too. If you're riding with really soft forks, you're going to have bad handling, and that makes riding less enjoyable, if you ask me.
Now, on that bike, I mean, obviously, if someone was to get that bike and they're doing new fork fluid, they're going to get new fork seals and all that other stuff. But when it comes time to do the brakes, those brake lines.
Brake lines have a date code as well. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, they have a date of manufacture, and there's a recommended time, like with tires, that you should replace it.
and that's on standard vinyl
Yeah.
lines, though. I mean, what if someone has braided lines?
Braided lines are just the exterior of it. The inside is
So it's still a vinyl sheathing line.
Yep.
Okay.
So and those materials break down over time, and especially with safety components, there's the right person is going to do one thing. The right person is going to do this thing. There's never really.
So the right thing in that situation, if someone was to bring the bike to you,
I would definitely recommend at 7 years. I would say probably should do brake lines.
but the thing is we're not just talking about a bike that's been sitting for 7 years. We're also talking about a bike that's 22 years old.
Right.
That
Even more
a
so
lot of this
with
service has
OEM.
not been done.
Right. And again, that's why, date codes on things are helpful. There is date codes on the brake lines. On the rubber part, you'll find dates on there from date of manufacture, which lets you know how old it is. And everybody is kind of free to do their own thing, but as a professional, I would definitely recommend replacing your brake lines at that point. And then people can kind of do what they want. A lot of people will argue that the brake works fine. It pumps up, it bled great, and my brakes work.
But I can't tell you how many bikes people have traded in that the bike looks immaculate, and the bike will sit there, you start it up, idles, runs great. I'll take it to the stage or whatever before it's ever been through service to take a photo of it, and I can squeeze that brake handle all the way back.
the way to
Now,
the
I
grip.
can sit there and pump it 3 or 4 times, and I start to get some brake,
Yep.
but I'm immediately like, that needs the fluid changed.
So, the fluid, and then you dig even deeper, even more overlooked would be the rubber components in your brake calipers. And
Yeah, see, I didn't even
unfortunately-
think
Yep,
about
the
those when
seals
we had those
and things like-
conversations.
Well, and that was something that we did talk about was gaskets in the engine.
Yeah, we talked about the gaskets in the engine.
Another roll of the dice. Depends on a lot of variables.
And
climate
that's
control is a big one of them.
Well, and that's kind of why I was telling Daniel the other day, I was like, with that, if I bought that motorcycle, I wouldn't tear into the engine. I would probably, do the 3-hole change, but not be shocked if a month later my primary's leaking or my transmission's leaking or
yes.
Hey, if it's leaking on the engine anywhere, it would not be a shock to me.
Right.
Because you're talking about those seals or those gaskets need the moisture.
Yeah.
Well, and again, a lot of them are coated or they're rubber seals or, some other multi-material that changes as time goes on.
Yeah, well, I don't know if
we all kind of know.
I don't know if Harley has any. Of course, in 2000 they might have. There was some that it was a metal seal that had like a rubber or vinylized coating on each side.
A lot of them. A lot of head gaskets have that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a rubberized chemical type of
over a metal,
or sometimes a stacked metal with a crushable material in the middle. There's all kinds of gasket technology now too, especially on the Pan America. I will say that, having torn one apart quite extensively.
But
that's also really awesome. It's cool but yeah, like you were saying, over a certain amount of time and depending on conditions, a lot of them are going to leak. And if not now, eventually. Brand new bikes can leak.
Well, it was like my motorcycle. Daniel was giving me a hard time. One of the hoses from my oil cooler was starting to leak. And Daniel was like, "Oh, it's a 17." I'm like, "Yeah, it's got like 40,000 miles. To me, that's not a big deal. It's like an $8 hose."
Yeah. Well, that's almost 5 years ago, which is easy to overlook when it's that close.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you're talking about on a motorcycle too. Like I said, it's 40,000 mile daily ridden motorcycle. So it's been in all different weather conditions, and it's not kept in a garage. It's kept covered, but not in a garage.
That will shorten the life of rubber components
Yep.
that are sun-beat or weather.
Well, that's the nice thing about with my motorcycle being ridden all the time, because
You have the fluids going
we see those things, and I pay attention to those things. Ryan recently did some work on my motorcycle, changed the oil in it for a video and stuff like that. And, the oil that was in my bike, I told him, I was like, dude, it's been probably 5,000 miles since I had an oil change. But I told him before he opened it up, I was like, the oil is still a good honey color. I know I need to get my oil changed, but and it was still decent oil. I probably could have went a little bit longer and not had issues, but it was time to be changed. But I feel like some of those things are things that do get overlooked a lot on bikes that aren't ridden on a regular basis.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at somebody that's going to say, "Oh, I've only got 500 miles on this oil change." It was 8 years ago, but it's 500 miles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time is a factor.
Yeah, oil
that
breaks
people
down.
don't consider.
Yep, oil breaks down. It's a mixture of chemicals. Eventually, they start to separate.
Especially if they've not been utilized during that period.
Yep.
Now, what about, I don't know with that bike, I know some generations yes, some generations no. And even then, sometimes it's from bike to bike, but greasable components. So, like, I don't know if the neck bearing on those things had a grease fitting.
Yes, that particular one would have. I'm kind of, because of where I come from as a motorcycle enthusiast and so forth, and obviously because it's my career, I would just take it apart, clean it, inspect the bearings, and re-grease it and put it back together.
Yeah.
But for me, that takes, not very long. For somebody who's never done it before, that's like, oh man, what do I do? And there's tons of resources out there, but it can still be, stressful. And so a lot of people don't want to undertake that responsibility. It is another safety component, that's what controls the whole front end of your motorcycle.
Well,
greasable components should be addressed also. Tinted wheel bearings.
The swing arm on that, is that a greasable?
I believe that's a spherical type bearing, if I remember. Don't lynch me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's a greasable bearing.
So you just You just pull the swing arm bolt
and press them out. Press them out. Yeah.
Okay.
And anti-seize, on the swing arm pivot bolt.
Yeah.
Would not be a bad idea.
But yeah, wheel bearings. I didn't think about wheel bearings, but I feel like to me, if I was rebuilding that motorcycle, wheel bearings. When you have the lift on a jack, you spin the wheel.
One's sealed wheels.
If it spins freely, not worry about it. But that's another one of those things, just like engine gaskets. If in a month it was like I could hear something, it was like, oh, I need to replace the wheel bearings.
You wouldn't be surprised.
It wouldn't shock me. That's the biggest factor I think that people need to understand with that bike.
Yeah.
Even after you have it on the road, if there's things where you go, holy crap, now I got to do this. That's just something that comes with not only a motorcycle that has been sitting for 7 years, but a 22-year-old motorcycle. I mean, your Softail's an Evo, right?
Yep, 96.
So you've experienced those things. It's like all of a sudden it's like, well, this has its issue. Of course,
and I still get mad, but then I go,
But you've also done some things to your Softail to avoid that. You don't have to worry about primary leaking and stuff like that.
Yeah, belt drive, primary.
So
that solves that.
You were going to ask something, Daniel?
Well, I was going to say, so, talking about greasing the neck bearings and things like that, these are things that obviously you mentioned for somebody that's never done it. That could be a week-long project to get in there and take care of this. But as a tech, somebody that knows what they're doing, a 10, 15-minute job.
I mean, probably more like an hour or two, but yeah, I get what you're going for. I get what you're going for.
I was thinking neck bearings is like a 4-hour job on the book.
I mean, if you take your time,
Well, there's other things you have to check. So the thing is you're not just pulling the neck off or the steering stem. You're not just dropping the steering stem and checking the bearings. Once you get it back on there, you have points where you have to put the bike on a stand.
Yeah, check the fall away.
Yeah,
obviously.
But that actually kind of leads into what I was going to say. A seasoned tech that knows exactly what they need to look for and are doing are going to find a lot of these things that your home mechanic, not saying that they're not good at what they're doing or not that they know, but you might find things that are going to be overlooked.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because of the knowledge of what to look for.
Exactly.
That too.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of what we're giving our listeners right now that might be in those situations. Maybe somebody has a bike that they just purchased and is in their garage and they're currently getting to this point. Hey, I bought a cheap bike and I'm going to do this stuff. Oh, hey, they did say this. Or they get it back on the road. Maybe someone just got one back on the road and all of a sudden their base gasket's leaking on their jug. And they're like, what crap? And it's like, well, they did say that this.
But see,
this is a possibility.
I guess that's kind of what I'm going for is we simplify like, oh, well, you want to re-grease the neck bearings.
Yeah.
Well, there's this whole other procedure of other things that you have to look for that you may not know about or see. And like you said, well, there's this whole other issue that came up a week after I did this. What's wrong?
Yeah.
But I already did that. That should be fixed.
Well, and specifically with the Fat Boy, you have an advantage with that motorcycle that you don't have with a lot of other Harley Davidsons that has a solid wheel. So you don't have to worry about spoked wheels.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, mag wheels would be the ones with the mag spokes, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about conventional wire spoke wheel.
Making sure they're true or not rusted or whatever, what have you. Yeah, right. And there's points, in my mind, I'm thinking, I guess, the whole picture. So, like, at this point, this whole bike would probably be entirely torn apart with the motor still in the frame, but, like, the whole front end would be off, the wheels would be off. Yeah. So I'm looking at a crazy mess of things up close that a lot of people would go.
And that's the thing where we're talking about the wheel bearings. Actually, now that I think about it, and you mentioned that, if you got the tire off, go ahead and buy yourself a set of $50 bearings.
Yeah, I mean, if it's been that long, why not? It's another safety thing. And pretty much everything on a motorcycle is kind of a safety thing because motorcycles are already inherently dangerous. You don't need something crazy happening because you didn't.
Motorcycles are the safest thing in the world.
No, but that's They're not.
safe
They're
until
not.
other
They're
people get
dangerous.
Look,
People die on them.
I'm gonna take.
But that's why we love them.
I'm going to take 1,650 cc's and strap it between your legs with no safety protection.
Yes,
That's
no
the-
seat belt. And
that's
people
the
used to do it
safest thing in the
without
world.
helmets. You know.
Some people still do it without helmets.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. I forget. A lot of states don't care about that.
Yeah, well, East Coastin just put out their video where they're doing their Halloween stunting,
To
and they
each
didn't have
their
on
own,
helmets.
right? It's your head. Do what you want with it. But
I mean,
you know, there's only two wheels. You can fall over. You could crash. You can run off the road. There's nothing holding you. You can fly
Yeah.
off. So you know, pay whatever your life is worth. Then pay for those pieces. Whether you're unaware or whether it's really dated.
Yeah.
Or if it just kind of looks, you know, you're like, I don't know, that doesn't really look good to me. It could be good, but if it doesn't make you feel good, like I said earlier, peace of mind is worth its weight in gold.
Oh,
Well, and you know, so kind of draw this down here, but basically, so someone buys that bike, they're not a mechanical person. They're going to take it into a dealership for most everything that needs to get done. Maybe they change the fluids themselves and stuff like that. But maybe they even handle the gas tank and the fuel lines and all that other stuff
Do
themselves.
their own service.
But they're like, you know what? I got to take it in for the tires. You know, most shops, if you go, hey, I got to get bearings put in. Actually, I say most shop. If a shop charges you extra to have those bearings put in while it's apart, for the most part, I'm not saying if they don't charge you.
There's definitely labor involved with pressing them in and out of the
But
wheel.
I think for us, most of the time, they're only talking like an additional like half hour.
Yeah.
Of labor. You're not paying, they're not sitting there, and I'm not saying there's shops that won't do this. There's shops that'll go, oh, well, changing bearings is an hour job or 2 hour job, so we're going to charge them
It
an
also
extra
depends on the
hour
type of bike,
or
too.
2 hours
Yep.
to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Timken
But part of
wheel
that
bearings,
time, the wheel's already off.
the wheel is already off. And with sealed bearings, where it's a pull-out, press-in, pretty
That's
much,
pretty easy.
you know, you can do it with your eyes closed if you have the right tools.
Yeah,
That-
2x4 and a rubber mallet.
I mean, to some people, sure. I guess if it gets you down the road.
Is that not the right way to do it?
I mean, it's better than just hammer to bearing.
Not wrong.
There is
I said rubber mallet.
There is appropriate press tools, or you know, like a hydraulic press that you could.
Well,
use
the
too,
thing
but-
is,
The
too, is
proper rubber
if
mallet.
someone was wanting to do this at home, those press tools, you could probably rent those press tools from an auto parts store.
Or find somebody you know that has them.
Yeah.
possibly. I mean,
I pray to God if someone's doing this at home, they have a friend that's probably a pretty good mechanic that they could call
they can
already.
Call on, yeah, for sure. I mean, wheel bearing tools can be, you know, kind of they need a little bit of finesse.
Well,
and a proper feel for you know, what you're doing. But if you're talking about Timken tapered wheel bearings, that's a whole nother story. You got to set end play. You got bearings and races that take grease, and then there's seals. So you know it's all relative to what you have. If they say, oh, it's going to be 2 hours to replace your wheel bearings, and you got a 99 with Timken wheel bearings.
so you know,
that's,
just
you
kind of going down a rough idea on what it would cost someone. Obviously, this is not a quotable thing because
Yeah, don't quote me. I've had adult beverages. This is
Well,
not
I don't
legal
know.
advice.
I don't know parts cost.
This is an estimate. In
I know,
pure sense
and
of
this
it.
is also based on just our labor cost
Yes.
for us. And obviously, if you were coming in with a massive job like this, you know, especially if someone bought this bike here locally, and 2 weeks from now they're at the dealership, you know, they might cut you a little bit of a break, being the time of year it is too.
Perfect time of year to do.
Yeah,
you
to
know,
get into a shop because there's a lot of
long-term
shops that are
storage
looking for these types of things right now because it is money for the shop.
Yep.
So you know,
And it's fun for some of us.
say the gas tank can be relined. You know, hoses aren't that very much. Spark plugs aren't that much. Doing a 3-hole change with your air filter and oil filter and a new petcock. You know, I'm gonna say parts and labor. You're probably somewhere around $500 to $600 for that. What do you think? Maybe a little bit more because of the gas tank.
Replacing the gas tank or
No,
relining
relining the gas tank.
Relining it? Yeah, you're probably close. Maybe, I don't know, maybe with today's prices, you might want to bump it up a couple $100, but
Okay.
I would say that's ballpark.
So
That's
just shy
fair.
of $1,000 at most.
So we'll say 800.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
We'll say you talk to a shop, you can get stuff done, and the gas tank just has to get relined. and they're just going to do a kit or something like that.
Yeah.
So, $800 to $1,000 for that. $500 for tires. I can tell you now, $500 for tires. New bearings with the labor for that stuff too. We're gonna put you somewhere closer to about $1,200 or not $1,200. Sorry, $700. It jumped up really quick, didn't it?
It can though, and be aware.
So, yeah.
There can be room for unavoidable things.
$700, and that's just your wheels.
Yeah.
Okay, so brake lines. If you want to put a taller set of handlebars on here, now's the perfect opportunity because you're going to be replacing brake lines.
Yeah,
and honestly, an extended brake line is going to be about the same price as it would be. And actually, that's one thing we didn't talk about. That's those throttle cables. They haven't been lubed in a while. You might want to just replace the throttle cables as well, throttle and idle cable. So, all of those, say you get a good deal, you run an aftermarket brand or something like that, maybe you're in at $300 to $400 for all your lines, for your brake lines and your cables and everything. That's not labor though. That's just the parts. We're talking another, if you have them put bars on, it's on a fat boy, it's a little bit easier than doing it on a bagger. We're still talking about another 4 hours of labor, 4 to 5 hours of labor probably.
Yeah, if you want them internally wired and stuff.
Yep.
More maybe.
Right now we're already $2,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're already $2,000.
And this is just to get it back on the road. This is not.
You haven't taken the neck off.
Yeah.
And done that stuff. You haven't re-greased and put new bearings on the pivot bolt for the swing arm.
And I would say that $2,000 estimate is probably on the lower end.
Oh, it's on the extreme low end. Yeah. Realistically, because we've already had these conversations at work about what it would truly take to get that bike on the road. There was not a written estimate, but we kind of talked to Teresa about it a little bit, and it was honestly $3,500 to $5,000. Now, the prices that I'm giving are just like I said. It's not even using Harley parts though, too. It's
without actually having the bike there, assessing the.
And that's also, if it's as simple as popping the carb off, putting it in a sonic bath or a regular parts cleaner, and it being fine to go.
Yeah.
Because you're talking if it's takes more than that. I mean, you're talking you could end up honestly being more like $1,200 or $1,300 for your fuel system and cleaning and changing the fluids in it.
Yep.
This might be a bike that you get. You have, say you get a good deal and you're at $4,000 to get it back on the road. In a month's time though, you might end up having a $500 to $1,000 component. Or maybe it's not a $500 to $1,000 component. Maybe it's a $50 gasket that's going to cost you
a $500
to $1,000. Yeah, $500 to $1,000 to replace because they have to tear the engine down. You could come down to they have to split the cases because the gasket on the case is no good.
It's leaking, right?
It's
all up in the air.
It's a $25 gasket.
It's a roll of the dice.
It's a $25 gasket. That's like what a 18-hour job to replace.
Yeah, you got to take everything apart. You take it all out of the bike. It's a whole ordeal, and there's lots of moving pieces involved that have to move when you put it back together.
I mean, you're outside the purchase price of the bike. I would not be surprised to honestly, and this is not a slight to anybody that wants to take on a project like this.
No, do it.
You will have more money in that motorcycle though than you will have that the motorcycle's worth.
Than if you could have bought it, ready to go down.
If you had found the dude that had the same a 2000 Fat Boy and it had 85,000 miles on it, and he rides it all the time and can tell you about it and all this other stuff, and he's selling it for $5,500.
That's almost better.
Buy that bike.
Better.
Buy that bike. It's a better motorcycle. Yeah.
And that's something.
It's not a moneymaker.
No.
But it is a mechanic's special for a Harley mechanic.
Yes.
That's why they call it a mechanic special. Yeah.
And that's also why we're going to try and sell the motorcycle to Ryan.
Don't even get me started on older soft tails. I like them. I say older now. 2000 not really that much older, but
yeah, first gen twin.
I would prefer an Evo, but early twin cams, use a
Still
cam.
carbureted.
Yeah.
Tassels.
That's the other thing.
Tassels.
It comes with the
And
tassels.
it has tassels.
Yep, for sure.
So
Leave them alone.
tassels are good.
Add more.
Well, Ryan, I want to thank you for coming out, sitting by the campfire with us and talking about this.
My pleasure.
There's much, much more that we want to talk about. You know, you recently, as well as several of our other techs, became completely dyno certified. I don't know what they call it.
I don't know either, to be honest.
They didn't tell you what it's called.
He just got a certificate.
We got
Yeah.
we got a attaboy, and that's how you do it. But
So
it was
Good job, buddy.
it was really very informative. I'm very excited about that. Have been doing a lot with that already.
that being said, right now at White Lightning Harley Davidson for the month of November, half price dyno days on Saturdays.
Yep, bring them in.
Come in, regular dyno run, single pulls, $55 on Saturdays. If you come in, first come, first serve, it's half price, so $27.50. You can have your numbers. And the techs can then, in turn, also let you know, hey, you know, you didn't get what you wanted. This is what's going on. We can dyno tune the bike, or maybe this is the problem. You know, these guys are smart. Ryan can go down the fact of whether you have too big or too small of a cam, or if you need to change your throttle body, or whatever it may be that you have going on
Yep.
with
And I'm
your
assuming
motorcycle.
that's Harley only.
That is Harley Davidson. Keep your Honda at your house, Daniel. We don't want it at the
I
shop.
have my own
Yeah,
dyno
sorry.
that I need to go to.
There's probably some Honda dynos around, but yeah, Harley only. And I hear rumor that there might be a leaderboard for you competitive types out there who want to be at the top of the list. So
I've heard those rumors too, and I do want to put this out
I
real
think
quick.
Marcus is going for number 1 already.
Of course
Yeah,
he is.
I'm not number one, but that's what I was going to say. So we recently took my bike, which was already an extremely fun riding motorcycle, extremely peppy motorcycle, and did a full, basically custom map dyno tune. It ran like, I think, 23 or 24 runs to get it all set to where it is. You know, when I saw the numbers, I was not happy. I was like, what? My numbers should be more. But riding the motorcycle, you would think that it has more power. Ryan,
Yes.
you rode the motorcycle the other day.
It feels good. It feels great. Yeah, it's. I mean, you got to consider the situation. You know, a drag race is not a road bike. You got to kind of lean one way or the other with what you want. Do you want rideability or do you want power? And when you're somebody who rides their bike every day, all the time, multiple times a week, or what have you, you want something that's fun to ride, not something that is fast at 1 RPM in a straight line.
I think
you know?
mine is built to be an extremely fun daily rider. Crisp
Yeah.
all through the RPMs.
Yep, pulls in and out of corners.
Yeah.
You know, you got plenty of passing power on the freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really what you want if you're riding around anywhere, in my opinion, unless you're on a track or, you know, on a drag strip. That we're not talking about that. But some people get it in their heads that they want, you know, these crazy numbers, and they get their bike and they're like, man, this thing runs kind of funky and it's not really fun to ride because it only goes fast right here.
I've seen guys with crazy numbers that
And
I've
it costs
rode
a lot of money to get there.
well, but I've also rode with them, and you know, getting out on these curvy roads, and they can't ride like
And you
I
walk
can.
away from them, but their
Yeah.
numbers could be, you know, double yours. But it's
Oh Lord, if somebody has double me, that's
I
a
mean,
fast Harley.
yeah, but like you said though, it's where are you using that power? You
Yeah.
know, you can't go 200 miles an hour in a 30 mile an hour corner.
Yeah. Well, it's like my torque curve. It's funny. Did you look at my dyno sheet?
Yeah.
So my torque curve goes up and then just stays at a plane like all the way through everything from like 3,600 RPMs to 62, and then it starts to drop.
Harleys
So-
feel great with tons of torque because
Yeah.
they got a big flywheel that
Yeah.
you got to keep moving.
And mine spins up so fast. That's what I was telling Daniel. Being the 107, that's the nice thing. And we had that conversation. It spins up a lot faster than what a bigger engine does.
Yep.
So, anyways, all right. Say bye, Ryan.
Bye, Ryan.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.